The other day I was driving through the drive-through of a fast food joint I used to go to all the time in high school. I hadn't been there in a while, maybe a few years, and I just wanted that nostalgia hit. I wanted a Big Mac. I remember when I was a kid, you could scrape together some loose change from your car's cup holder, maybe find a crumpled dollar bill in your pocket, and that was enough for a meal. It was cheap, greasy, and ubiquitous. But when I pulled up to the window this time and saw the total on the screen, I actually took a double take. I thought maybe I had accidentally ordered 3 meals. I looked at the receipt, and there it was. 1 burger, 1 fry, 1 drink. And the price was nearly double what I remembered. So I get the bag, I park the car, and I open the wrapper. And this is where the real confusion set in. The burger looked smaller. It felt lighter. I'm sitting there staring at this thing, and I'm thinking, did my hands get bigger? Did the cows get smaller? Did the recipe change? And that's when it hit me. The cow didn't change. The farming didn't change. The amount of labor it took to flip this patty didn't fundamentally change. The burger is the same, maybe even of a worse quality than it used to be, but the price is skyrocketing. And that realization is what I want to talk to you about today. It's not about the burger. The burger is just a signal. It is the canary in the coal mine. We are all walking around feeling this low-level anxiety every time we tap our cards at the grocery store or pay our utility bills. We tell ourselves it's just inflation, like it's some kind of weather pattern that will pass if we just wait it out. We think, oh, prices are high right now, they'll come back down. But I need to be the friend who sits you down and tells you the truth. They are not coming back down. That era is over. The price of that burger isn't going up because the burger is becoming more valuable. The price is going up because the money in your pocket is dying. It sounds dramatic, I know. Currency death. It sounds like something out of a history book or a sci-fi movie. But if we look at the timeline of human history, this is actually the most normal thing in the world. Every currency eventually dies. It's a cycle as old as civilization itself. We like to think we are special, that our modern dollars, euros, and yen are invincible because they are digital and backed by powerful governments. But the Romans thought the same thing. Let's take a walk back to ancient Rome for a second. I find this fascinating because it's almost exactly what we are seeing today. Rome had the denarius. It was a silver coin, about 95% pure silver. It was real money. If you were a Roman soldier or a baker, you knew that a coin had value because it was literally made of precious metal. But then the emperors got ambitious. They wanted to fight more wars, build more colosseums, and throw bigger parties. But they ran out of silver. So what did they do? Did they stop spending? Of course not. They got creative. They started mixing other cheaper metals into the coin, copper, bronze, whatever they could find, a little at a time. Nero dropped the silver content to 90%. Then later, emperors dropped it to 80%, then 50%. By the end of the empire, the silver coin was just a copper slug with a tiny microscopic wash of silver on top. It was fake. It was a fraud. But the government insisted it was worth the same. And what happened? The soldiers realized they were being paid in garbage. The merchants realized their coins were worthless. Prices skyrocketed. Trust collapsed. And eventually, the greatest empire the world had ever known crumbled. Now, fast forward to today, we don't clip coins anymore. We don't mix copper into silver. We have something much more efficient. We have a computer. We have a central bank that can create $1 trillion in a nanosecond with a single keystroke. When you look at that Big Mac costing $10, you are looking at the modern version of the copper slug. You are looking at a currency that has been diluted, debased, and printed into oblivion. And just like the Romans, we are being told that everything is fine. We are told the economy is strong, but your grocery bill tells a different story. Your rent tells a different story. And deep down, something is broken. This is where we need to switch gears and look at the math, because the math is honestly hilarious if it wasn't so terrifying. Let's look at the United States, the issuer of the world's reserve currency. The national debt is currently moving so fast that the debt clock looks like a blur. We are talking about tens of trillions of dollars. Now, in the real world, where you and I live, if you have a credit card and you max it out, you have to stop spending. You have to pay it back. If you don't, the bank cuts you off, you go bankrupt, and your life gets really hard. But governments don't live in the real world. They live in a fantasy land called modern monetary theory, When the government maxes out its credit card, it doesn't stop spending. It just applies to a new credit card with a higher limit. And then it uses that new card to pay off the minimum balance on the old card. And then when that one maxes out, they do it again. It is a Ponzi scheme. It is literally the definition of a Ponzi scheme, where new money is used to pay off old investors. But because it's the government, it's legal. And because they control the printing press, they can keep the game going for a long time, but they can't keep it going forever. Think about this. The interest payments on the U.S. national debt are now higher than the entire defense budget. We are spending more money just to service the debt, not to pay it down, just to pay the interest than we spend on the entire military. That is a mathematical death spiral. There is no way to tax your way out of that. If you took 100% of the income of every billionaire in America, it wouldn't even fund the government for a few months. So what is the only option left? What is the only card they have left to play? Print more money. They have to print. They have no choice. If they stop printing, the deflationary crash would be instant and catastrophic. So they choose inflation. They choose to slowly bleed the value out of your savings account to keep the system alive for just one more day, one more month, one more election cycle. And this brings us to the most dangerous trap of all, the NPC mindset. You know what an NPC is, right? A non-player character in a video game. They just walk around following a program script. They don't think, they don't react, they just do what the code tells them to do. In our economy, the NPC strategy is what we were all taught in school. Go to school, get a job, work hard, and save your money in a bank account. That advice is outdated. It is obsolete. It is actually dangerous. If you are saving money in a bank account that pays you 0.5% interest or even 4% interest, while the real cost of living is going up by 10% or 15% a year, you are not saving, you are losing. You are bleeding wealth. You are working hard, trading your precious time on this earth for a currency that is melting like an ice cube in the sun. Let's look at shrinkflation again, because it is my favorite example of how they treat us like NPCs. Have you noticed the bag of chips getting lighter? Is the candy bar getting shorter? Is the toilet paper roll having fewer sheets? That is, the company's treating you like an idiot. They know they can't raise the price to $20 a bag because you'd riot. So instead, they give you less product for the same price. They're hoping you won't notice. They are hoping you are just an NPC who blindly grabs the bag off the shelf. They are literally selling you air and charging you for potatoes. It's a scam. It's a rug pull. And it's happening in every aisle of the grocery store. The system relies on you not paying attention. It relies on you trusting the official numbers. They tell you inflation is cooling. Have you ever heard that term? Inflation is cooling. What does that even mean? It doesn't mean prices are coming down. It just means they are going up slightly slower than they were yesterday. If someone is punching you in the face 5 times a minute, and then they slow down to punching you 3 times a minute, are you healing? No, you're still getting punched in the face. So what happens when you wake up and realize you are the main character in this story? What happens when you decide to stop playing by their rules? You start looking for the exit. You start looking for lifeboats. And history gives us the blueprints for those lifeboats. When a currency dies, capital flees. It runs away from the fake money and it runs toward real things. This is where we have to talk about real assets versus paper promises. A paper promise is a dollar bill. It's a bond. It's a savings account. It is a claim on wealth that relies on a politician keeping their word. A real asset is something that exists in the physical world. It doesn't need a counterparty. It doesn't need a government decree. It just is. Take gold and silver. I know people call them boomer rocks. They say it's old-fashioned. But ask yourself this. Why are central banks buying gold at record levels right now? China is buying gold. Russia is buying gold. India is buying gold. Even Western central banks are hoarding it. Why, if gold is a barbarous relic, why are the most sophisticated financial institutions on earth stacking it to the ceiling? Because they know the game is up. They know the dollar system is nearing its end date. They are hedging their bets. They are buying insurance. If the central banks are buying gold and you are holding paper, you are on the wrong side of the trade. You are betting against the house. But it's not just gold. It's land, productive land. You can't print land. You can't inflate land. They aren't making any more of it. If you own a piece of dirt where you can grow food or build a house or drill a well, you have something real. You have sovereignty. It's skills. This is the ultimate asset. In a world where money becomes worthless, what can you do? Can you fix a car? Can you wire a house? Can you grow a garden? Can you perform first aid? These are the things that have value when the financial abstractions melt away. If you are a consultant who makes PowerPoints about synergy and the economy collapses, you are going to have a hard time. But if you are a carpenter, you will always be rich because you can trade your skill for food, for shelter, for gold. And let's not forget the digital lifeboat. I know crypto is controversial. There are scams. There are rug pulls. There is volatility. But the idea of Bitcoin, a decentralized, finite ledger that no government can print, is a direct response to the corruption of the fiat money system. It is an exit door, whether you like it or not. It represents people looking for a way out of the burning building. This brings us to the concept of the great wealth transfer. We hear this term a lot. Usually, it refers to money passing from baby boomers to millennials. But I think the real wealth transfer is going to be from the people who hold paper to the people who hold things. Imagine a scale. On one side, you have trillions of dollars of debt, derivatives, and fiat currency. On the other side, you have the finite amount of real assets on planet Earth. When confidence in the paper side collapses, all that energy, all that purchasing power is going to rush to the other side of the scale. It's going to try to squeeze through a very small door. And if you are already standing on the other side of that door, if you already own the assets, the value of what you hold is going to explode upwards. Not because your assets are changing, but because the measuring stick, the money is breaking. So don't be the person holding the bag. Don't be the person waiting for the government to save you. They can't save you. They are the ones causing the problem. They are the ones driving the bus toward the cliff. Your job is to get off the bus. And this isn't about fear. I don't want you to be scared. Fear paralyzes people. I want you to be angry. Yes. I want you to be alert, but mostly I want you to be prepared. There is a tremendous opportunity here. The people who see the train coming can get off the tracks. The people who understand history can position themselves to thrive while everyone else is panicking. But you have to act. You can't just watch videos and nod your head. You have to look at your own finances. You have to look at your own portfolio. Ask yourself, how much of my wealth is dependent on the system working perfectly? If the answer is 100%, you are in danger. You need to diversify into the real world. You need to get your hands on things that cannot be deleted, debased, or confiscated by a keystroke. Now, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a thought that has been haunting me. It's a quote from Ernest Hemingway. In his novel, The Sun Also Rises, a character is asked how he went bankrupt. And his answer is simple, terrifying, and profound. He says 2 ways, gradually, then suddenly. That is exactly how currencies die. That is exactly how empires fall. It is gradual. It is the price of the Big Mac creeping up year after year. It is the savings account buying a little less. It is the noise in the background that you learn to ignore. It feels manageable. It feels normal. That is the gradually phase. And we have been living in the gradually phase for decades. But then comes suddenly is when the dam breaks. Suddenly is when the trust evaporates overnight. Suddenly is when you wake up and the bank is closed, or the currency has lost 50% of its value in a week, or the store shelves are empty. Suddenly is when the panic sets in. And the tragic thing about suddenly is that by the time it happens, it is too late to prepare. You cannot buy fire insurance when your house is already burning. You cannot buy a lifeboat when the ship is already underwater. We are inching closer to the suddenly moment every single day. The debt numbers are getting too big. The geopolitical tensions are getting too high. The cracks in the system are getting too wide to paint over. The warning lights are flashing red, but the people in charge are putting tape over them and telling you to enjoy the ride. Do not listen to them. Listen to your gut. Listen to the history books. Listen to the math. We are entering a period of change that will redefine what it means to be wealthy, what it means to be secure, and what it means to be free. The old rules are gone. The safety nets are being cut. And in this new reality, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is poverty. You have a choice to make, and you have to make it soon. The window of opportunity to convert your paper promises into real wealth is still open, but it is closing. The gold premiums are rising. The best land is being bought up. The smart money is moving. You need to move too, because here is the harsh reality that we must face. This is not a drill. This is not a theory. This is the inevitable mathematical conclusion of a debt-based monetary system. In the coming financial world, there will be no middle class. There will be only two types of people: those who own real assets and those who own debt paper. That is the dividing line. That is the new caste system. On one side, sovereignty, security, and survival. On the other side, dependence, inflation, and ruin. Which side are you standing on right now? And more importantly, which side will you be standing on when the music stops? Please do not take this lightly. Do not brush this off as just another YouTube video. Take a hard look at your life. Take a hard look at your labor. Are you storing your life force in a leaking bucket? Are you building your house on sand? The danger is not that you earn too little money. The danger lies in believing that money will hold its value tomorrow. Wake up, prepare, and do not let yourself be the victim of a tragedy that was written in the history books centuries ago. The storm is coming, but if you are ready, you don't have to fear the rain. You just have to build your ark. Good luck. It is